Man, what's up with the what's up? It's your boy Tyrone Hunter back in the building with another edition of What's Really Good. If you've been rocking with the channel, well, I appreciate you. Stay tuned because you know I'm going to continue to bring you that fire. If you're just checking in for the first time, hit the like button on the way in the door. Hit the subscribe button on the way out the door. Big major shout out to my boy, my brother, J.O. Man, hold your head. I'm here. You feel what I'm saying? And it's so much that I want to say, but you know what I'm saying? We gonna get it figured out, inshallah. So for today's video, right? You see the title, you know my motto, I'm not gonna hold you. Today we're gonna be talking about whether Young Thug got Big Nut killed and why. This is the full, complete story. This is the story of all stories. This is that story you ain't got to hear no more stories. We're going to break everything down from A to Z. So, if you want to know what really happened with this whole Big Nut situation, the beef between YSL and YFN and the smoke and the all of that and the oil, this is what you need to check into. This is why you need to be tuned in. And this is why you need to be subscribed to the channel so you could get that vibe. You feel? But yeah, man, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So, all of this goes back to the earlier part of the 2000s, right? Can't give you exact years. Nut died in about 2015. So everything was prior to that. Now, how everything was flowing at that time, Young Thug, Big Nut, YFN Lucci, all of them was cool, right? All of them supposed to be on the same team. Red Life. If you know, you know. Here come Birdman come along. Cash Money. She hear Thug popping in the city, right? So Birdman, he get down there to the A. He start chopping it up with Thug. You know, they start making music together. They did the song Lifestyle. Rich Homie Quan in there, right? Everything was good. They cool. Everybody on the same team. Everybody on the same page. But then one thing happened. What happened? Everybody want to know. Like, what happened to bring all of this about? So, Birdman wanted to sign Young Thug to his label. He also wanted to sign Rich Homie Quan because Rich Homie Quan and Thug, they had like a great chemistry, as well as at the time, Rich Homie Quan was, you know, one of the hottest in the A. But see, it was only one thing with that. It was only one thing with that scenario. Rich Homie Quan and YFN Lucci was signed to Big Nut. Word on the street is Birdman, he tried to, you know, figure something out with Young Nut. I mean, he tried to figure something out with Big Nut so that, you know, Rich Homie Quan could sign to his label and they could run it up, they could turn it up, and they could do what they do. Big Nut didn't want that. So it was a little friction. It was a little confrontation. It was little situations. Now, Young Thug was in the middle. He from the A, Big Nut from the A, but everybody know Birdman. He got that bag. He turning people into stars. So Young Thug, he wanted to kind of be on that part of the equation. It's not to say that Big Nut wasn't getting no money, but he definitely wasn't seeing no money like Birdman. So it's kind of clear that Young Thug kind of picked his side, you know? He decided to side with Birdman because that's who he was trying to get money with. This caused the issue between Big Nut and Thug, and because Birdman is the one that wanted to pull Thug and Rich Homie Quan it kind of started a little rift between them. Word on the street is on the low, like they were still trying to pull, Rich Homie Quan, to that side. But Rich Homie Quan was like kind of loyal, to Nut. And Rich Homie Quan, and YFN Lucci, they was on the same label. So he decided that he was going to stay there. He wanted to do music. He still wanted to rock with Thug and them, but he just ain't want to sign to them. As a result of that, Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan had a falling out. There was a lot of issues between that. Word on the street is, because of this rift that was going on, YFN, which is Lucci Squad, which is Nut Peoples, right? Started going at it with YSL, which is the people that support Young Thug, or the people that's on Young Thug's side. YFN Lucci, house got shot up twice. On one occasion, his mother and his father got shot. Big Nut got killed. Young Thug, baby mother got killed. She got killed recently, a couple of years ago. It was a lot of shooters back and forth, and they said that war pretty much turned Atlanta up. But the question of all questions is, did Young Thug George Bush the button and have Big Nut killed? So before I answer that question, I kind of have to give you a little bit more background so you could understand, so we could be on the same page. So Kenneth Copeland, a.k.a. Lil Woody, a.k.a. King Snitch, a.k.a. Snitch of all snitches, a.k.a. he don't play fair, a.k.a. why you do that there? So there was an occasion where Little Woody allegedly broke into Big Nut truck and took a phone, took some jewelry, and some other items. As a result of that, allegedly, Big Nut hitters has shot up Lil Woody baby mother house, a couple of his other houses, and they was trying to kill him because they heard, pretty much he was the one that broke into Nut truck. You feel what I'm saying? And once Nut found out, Nut George Bush the button was like, man, get on him, take care of him. And so they was trying to get Lil Woody. So it was a back and forth at that time until them boys wound up getting up with Big Nut, and they wound up sending him back to the maker, R.I.P. Big Nut. So when Big Nut passed, because they was already gunning at Lil Woody, when Nut passed, the word on the street was, or it was assumed, and, we not here to do nobody's job, but it was assumed that Lil Woody, a.k.a. Kenneth Copeland, had something to do with it. He said he had an alibi. He said it wasn't him. But again, if you look at the scenario, Lil Woody allegedly broke into Young Nut truck, took some jewelry and stuff like that. Big Nut found out about it. There was supposed to be an occasion where Lil Woody met up with Big Nut to give him some of the items back. Nobody was going to think that they was cool after that. So it pretty much started what it started. Big Nut wound up getting killed. When Big Nut passed, word on the street was, or was assumed on the street, that Lil Woody was the one that was behind what happened. And then Young Thug's name was caught up in the mix. Why? Because Lil Woody had a beef with Young Nut. YSL and YFN been going at it. Big Nut camp versus Young Thug camp, they was going at it. So now that the dust settled, and now that the dust cleared, and now that we have a little bit more facts and information based on the testimony of Lil Woody, based on what happened in trial, and then just piecing together a lot of the events that happened back then, what it seems like is, because of the business arrangement, because of Birdman wanting to sign Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan, and Big Nut not wanting that to happen, and Rich Homie Quan wanting to stay on that side, That caused a division between Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug. Thug sided with Birdman, so that caused a division between Thug and Big Nut. All of this was about rap music. All of this was about signing Young Thug and Rich Homie Quan to Birdman label. And because that didn't happen, you know, Big Nut was feeling they was trying to snake him. They was doing some snake stuff. You know, Thug pretty much had went against the grain because he's from Atlanta. He's supposed to ride with the Rush. So all of this beef started behind that. Now, can we say Young Thug is the one that George pushed the button and sent the shooters at Nut? We can't say that. Can we say that Lil Woody was one of the trigger men behind the killing of Big Nut? We can't say that. Can we say that Lil Woody didn't kill Big Nut? We can't say that. All that's assuming, all of that's speculation. But if you pay attention to the story, and if you pay attention to everything that was going on, and if you understand what war is about, and when it's time to get it in, ain't nobody waiting for no phone call from nobody. Pretty much it's on, it's popping, it's hot like fish grease. Gang is ready to go. Gang is going to stand on business. Gang is going to step to that business. They not waiting for nobody to tell them nothing. So the chances that Thug got on the phone and was like, man, listen, I want you to go get Nut, I think those chances is kind of slim. And whoever feels different, I think that they kind of reaching. If you look at all of the things that happened and all of the things that transpired, you could assume that Thug was the one that set the hit. But you have to keep in mind, when Lil Woody broke into Nut truck and stole his stuff, when Nut found out about that, Nut started sending hitters at Lil Woody. And Woody was supposedly a hitter and a shooter at the time. So he wasn't going to let that ride. So they started, you know, they started going at each other. So in Lil Woody's mind, for him, it's probably on site with Nut. Or his people, whoever ride with him that heard about what happened, they think it's, all right, as soon as, you know, we get a drop on Big Nut, he out of there. That could have been Lil Woody, you know, taking it personal, and he got that vendetta, and he's saying, like, man, this is what it's going to be. So that's kind of the long and short of it. But now we have to take you to the next part of the equation, because even Lil Wayne got caught up into this. When Lil Wayne and Birdman had their little falling out over some money, and Wayne was in Atlanta and his tour bus got shot up, they saying allegedly that it was somebody from Young Thug Squad, from YSL, who allegedly took that hit. And so all of these things that's transpiring, this is how, you know, they was talking about it was going to be a RICO. They was talking about it back then, that they was investigating Thug and they wanted to snatch him up on a RICO. But the answer to the question as to whether Young Thug got Big Nut killed, I mean, that's all out for speculation. If you assume, you can see it any way that you want to see it. But at the end of the day, based on what was going on back then, is the reason why people are assuming that. And that's the story. Those are the facts. That's everything from A to Z. We not pointing no fingers because we not doing that. But in trial the other day, and I wanted to bring this up in a previous video that I did. So in trial the other day, Lil Woody said that he engaged in some art of war tactics. Now, if you don't know what the art of war is, it looks something like this, right? This is called the art of war. This is what some people be practicing when they be out there doing their street activities. So Lil Woody, in his 2.5-hour interrogation, said that he pulled an art of war move. If you want to know what that art of war move is, man, you're going to have to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and you're going to have to tap into the next video, which is going to be dropping soon. But for the meantime, in between time, I want to know what y'all thinking. I want to know what's y'all thoughts. Do you think Young Thug had something to do with Big Nut being killed? Do you think Young Thug made the phone call? Do you think they just assuming? If you down in the A, and pretty much, you know, you want to fill in the gaps of some of this, then you can fill in the gaps. But crazy thing is, they said Fannie Willis allegedly was the girlfriend, or she was one of Big Nut girls back in the days, and she took his killing personal. So now you look into the future and you see Fannie Willis as a district attorney. She's the one that put out the indictment against YSL. It's like this story just has so many twists and turns, and so many uncut and cut and not cut and full of cut. It's like a whole lot of cut. You know what I'm saying? But all of this is weaving together. This is kind of like some unique story and situation that transpired that was in the streets, but it then led in all of these directions. All of this has been going on since 2015. Even YFN Lucci got stabbed since he been in prison by a member of YSL, allegedly. But the question that everybody want to know is YSL a gang, or is YSL a music label? And because Thug, as the CEO of the music label, he had people that had love for him and people that was going to step for him and handling business. And did they do that on his own accord? Or was it or did it happen all because, Thug was this gang boss? I mean, it's a lot of speculation. There's definitely a lot more going to come out in the trial. Y'all can stay tuned for the trial. I'm going to continue to give you updates on that. If you want to know about Lil Woody, aka Kenneth Copeland, Art of War move, man, you're going to have to check out the next video. Like I said, that's going to be dropping soon. Subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so that you can be notified when that video drop. And I'm going to continue to bring you that fire. Until then, don't listen to what the rest of them is saying, because you get the facts here. You get that fire. The only thing that we do is we ain't giving no names. You know the game. You know what it is. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Tyrone Hunter.